Welcome to 101. I'm Greg Bassett, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. It's a big day here at PAC 14. One of my favorite people is here, Jayme Hayes from Junior Achievement. Welcome.
Thank you.
So many people don't know what Junior Achievement is. I know what it is, but give us your pitch on what Junior Achievement does.
It is really hard to explain what JA does because we do so much, but we're best known for our three pillars, which is financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship. So we teach kindergarten through 12th grade, and we have a curriculum that volunteers like yourself go into the classroom and deliver to our students, helping them understand the world outside of school and all the things you need to do, pay your bills, your credit score, interview skills, work ethic, appropriate attire, all of those things that, we kind of all wish we had learned a little earlier in life. Junior Achievement tries to get in there as early as possible, so we start in kindergarten.
Yeah, and it's so important. I used to employ a lot of people, and I was just stunned by how many of them had no clue about how to dress for work, how to call in sick. How many of them had their paychecks taken because they couldn't pay their bills, and they really did not know anything.
Right. Well, and it's unfortunate. Life has gotten even more complicated now with technology, and it becomes a little bit more difficult for parents to impart some of their knowledge because things are changing so drastically and so quickly. So Junior Achievement is constantly out in the workforce, engaging with the business community, finding out what's the latest trends, what's the most important thing, and we package that up in a curriculum that can be delivered. So our volunteers aren't going in on their soapbox and explaining how they would do things. We give them all the knowledge that they need to make their own choices and understand the differences and the needs and the high demands of upcoming careers and opportunities that they should, really be paying attention to.
Yeah, and the whole financial literacy thing is such a personal thing because you can kind of run that part of your life any way you want.
Right.
So I can see why it's not maybe taught in schools to the same degree, but you guys just kind of bust through all that and say, this is how you should do things.
Right, absolutely. And, we value our partnership with the schools, and I think it's such a shame that the community sort of, just puts everything on the schools. The schools should do that. The schools should do that.
Right.
The schools think the parents should do it, and the parents think the schools should do it, and we should all be doing it. Church, parents, volunteers, teachers, the marketing rule of 7, we should be engaging with these students in every aspect, talking to them about money. I mean, you live and breathe money every day until the day you die.
Right.
So it's important that we're constantly talking about it. And we give resources to parents, too, about being open, about their financial situation, have the kids participate in paying bills or planning for a family trip. All of that stuff really helps bring everything together, and I think it's important. But we're lucky that our schools want JA, they want to teach financial literacy, and they want us in the schools, and we're able to deliver that in a positive way that allows the kids to still make choices. And I don't know if you know this, but everything on the internet is real and true.
It's all true.
Yeah, it's all true.
Yeah.
So you have the world of Google, right? And you Google, how to pay your bills off, or you do whatever, and you get some wrong information. So,
Right.
Junior Achievement really slices through all of that. And again, we want kids to make the right choices, but we want them to make their choices. So that's why when we say we have a curriculum, we're giving facts and explaining how it works and why it works that way. So schools value the fact that we're quality. We do deliver a curriculum. Our volunteers are trained before they go in the classroom. We make it exciting and fun, but at the same time, the kids, they want to be adults. They
Right.
want to know how to pay their bills, and they get excited about learning this information. So it's a great partnership.
Right. Now, how do you all get access to the kids?
So we partner with the schools. We usually create a program plan depending on what the schools need at the time, or what we're working on with the business community. So, for instance, our business community had a very high demand for certain types of careers. So we created JA Inspire. Our national office recommends 8th grade as the placement for that program. We contacted the schools. They said absolutely, and boom, there we are. So all of our programming, we work with the schools in terms of what grade level to implement, when to implement it, what class to implement it. They get a lot of mandates from the state, so fitting us in the best place, whether it be math or social studies. We're generally social studies. So that's how you can't sign up for us, so to speak.
Right. And you've got a big event coming up. Tell me all about that.
Yes, JA Inspire.
Last year it was just incredible.
I know. So last year we piloted our first ever JA Inspire, which is a national program. Other JAs have been doing it all over. It's a lot of work. So my small office at the time was nervous about doing it. So we finally piloted it last year. It was amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, 1,200 Wacomico County students, 8th grade students came, and it's not a career fair, although that's the easiest way to describe it.
Right.
It's a career exploration. So there's activities that go on in the classroom before they arrive. And when they arrive, as you know, when you walk around, I mean, it was almost like Disney. And this year it's 3,000, so wish me luck on that one.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, more than doubled. But as you walked through the event, we had a flight simulator, we had a phlebotomy arm, we had computerized tractors, we had a live ER, we had virtual welding, we had virtual painting, we had, everything you could possibly imagine, all under one roof. And, I always say that college is the most expensive career exploration activity that you can participate in.
Right.
But I went to school for nursing, and until Salisbury University had me tour PRMC, I thought that's what I wanted to do, until I walked around and realized I don't necessarily like being around sick people. But this gives them an opportunity before they go to high school to see what they might like.
Yeah.
And then they plan their coursework, which makes so much more sense than doing a job fair their senior year when they're like, what's a plumber? So this is an opportunity for them to see all the high demand careers, the salaries, the skills needed, the requirements and pathways to get into the college, so they know before they make all the mistakes that, we made in high school and maybe goofed off during math class. I think it's important that we, inspire them as early as possible. And 8th grade is the perfect age.
There was so many great photos of these kids interacting with this stuff. It really looked tremendous.
Yes, it was absolutely amazing. D3 donated a video for us, time lapse and a video, and we kept saying, "You got to cut it back. It's still 5 minutes. You got to cut it back." And they were like, "We can't. It's too perfect. We can't edit it out." So this year is going to be even bigger. We had to move to the Ocean City Convention Center.
Okay, so it's not in Salisbury this year. Okay.
We were at capacity last year. So this year we're more than doubling. We're bringing students from Caroline, Talbot, Dorchester, Wacomico, Worcester, and Somerset. So every 8th grade students on the Wacomico or Eastern Shore of Maryland will be coming. So it'll be 3,000 8th grade students. We're busing them all day long in for this experience. And I think it's important that everyone understands that they're prepared for this experience. This is not just walking around playing with things.
Right.
They've really narrowed down their interests, whether they like working with people, whether they like working with their hands.
Yeah, they go in with a list of stuff they want to make sure they see, so
Absolutely.
so they don't miss it.
So to me, it's a quality experience versus just, hey, this is a career fair, learn what's out there. They have specific questions, and then afterwards they have to do a reflection piece of what they learned, what they understood, what they liked, what they didn't like. Some of the stuff we got back last year, our whole office stood around. My favorite was, and she's actually in the video, she just said she didn't even know there was opportunity on the shore. She had been told by so many people that you have to go across the bridge for opportunity, and she said, I just walked around, there's so many jobs here. She had no idea, and I'm thinking to myself, that's exactly what we want.
Right.
Stay here. Stay here. Work here. So.
Right. What's your advice to parents if they, they might not know, the kid might be excited, but you want the parent to get involved and encourage? What's your advice there?
So I think obviously talking about their experience and listening to their likes and dislikes and participating in the conversation is important. One of the unique things that we're doing this year that I think parents should participate in is the night before the event. So our event is February 27th on a Thursday. Wednesday the 26th in the evening from 3:30 to 6:30, we're opening up to teachers so they can see the opportunity here on the shore, parents so they can learn. We want to change that stipulation or that perception that skilled trade is something like, oh, go to college, don't do that. They are making great money with no college debt.
Right.
Some of these plumbers and HVAC, it's $65,000, $85,000. No college debt. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to college. I'm just saying there's a pathway for everyone. And if your child wants to be a plumber, awesome.
Right.
The demand right now is, you are out of high school in an apprenticeship job immediately. And we should respect every child's pathway and that everyone has a different pathway. So I would encourage parents the night before to come and look. You can bring your child. Come look, come learn all that there is on the shore. We're going to have drones. We're going to have more flight simulators than last year. We're going to have cars. We have there's everything. We have 9 industries. Wallops now has a whole section. So we're going to have all this cool stuff there that I don't know how to explain because, I'm not an astronaut. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. But it's going to be amazing. And I encourage parents to ask questions after the event and to try to come the night before.
You seem to have great support from the business community. People seem to understand what you do, and you've got great supporters and cheerleaders for what you do.
We were sort of surprised as well that each year, even during 2007, 2008, we continued to grow. And every year we've been growing exponentially. And I believe that we're helping employers, that we're setting a pipeline for them. So when you talk about investing in the future and investing in your future pipeline for employees, I mean, what better place than to invest in a student and through junior achievement? So I do think that we have a strong support system from the corporate world, and it's because they're seeing value in what we're doing, and kids are more prepared and they're staying on the shore. And, I think we deliver a good product. I think we have quality work and high impact, and who doesn't want to sponsor something like that? I was in the for-profit world before this, so it was a learning curve for me being in the nonprofit world, and I think I did bring a little bit of the private sector in terms of running a business. So, when I took over JA in 2007, I think that was my mindset, was we were going to run this like a business. And I'm very lucky that junior achievement nationally feels the same way.
Right.
If we're going to provide future business leaders, then we need to be really good business leaders. So I think a little bit differently in that capacity, but I also think I've had the most amazing board members that have been so committed to JA and their time and their investment. And just as we've grown, I just think, it's grown exponentially.
Right. So tell me about your vision for this campus where the kids can come.
We are in the works right now of developing, these are all over the United States. I'm not developing something new by any means. There's actually, I think, 60 of them across the United States. They are a mini facility that kids get to live as an adult for an entire day. And it's really interesting.
That sounds painful.
It is, and that's what we want. We want to have students feel and understand that this is not easy. And when you're in high school, you tend to kind of fluff off work and jobs and all of that stuff. But, they show up to this facility. We hand them a life situation. You're 32 years old. You make $28,000 a year. You have 2 kids. Good luck. The door's open.
Right.
And we shove them into the real world, and we're like, you got 4 hours. Figure it out. And you see them all take the deep breath in, and you're right, it is. It's scary, but that will be the same feeling when they turn 18 and they go out into the real world. So we're just going to do it a little earlier and let you make the mistakes, let you fumble, and we'll be there to catch you. And they have to buy a house. They have to go grocery shopping. They have to get a car. They have to get insurance. They have to do things that we had to do and figure out and fumble around,
Now, I know you went to look at the facility on the Western Shore, and that kind of inspired you.
Oh yes, we've been to a ton of facilities all across the United States. We've even had board members fly to the Atlanta, Georgia location, which is the mega facility. These are amazing, and these students, while they're scared, and that's not our intention, it's definitely a huge realization. They had no idea how difficult it was, and the financial burden of not graduating from high school or going on to a career that you enjoy or that you love can really affect the rest of your life. And they have a chance to see that and feel that and understand that stress and hopefully make better decisions.
All right, recap. Your event is when?
February 27th is when 3,000 students will arrive.
Right.
February 26th, open to the public, 3:30 to 5:30, Ocean City Convention Center.
But just in case I have some guilt and I want to help you, how would I do that?
You can just go to our website. You can go to ja.org/Eastern Shore. There's a Donate Now button. You can just click that, and it'll walk you through whatever you want to support, whether it be an event, an upcoming bowl-a-thon, golf, or JA Inspire, or you just want to sponsor a student.
She's Jayme Hayes. She's doing amazing work out there, really growing this nonprofit. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Joining me now in the studio is Marie Calafiura from the Salisbury Rotary. We're thrilled to have her here today. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you very much.
Now, you're here because you're going to talk about the Rotary Club of Salisbury. And the Rotary Club's one of those things people kind of make fun of the Rotary, it's like, what do these people do? But my gosh, when you look at what Rotary does, it's amazing, and there's been a column in my paper here for the last several months now that Roger Fallabout has written, documenting the 100 years of service of Rotary, and I'm just so impressed with all the things Rotary's done over the time.
We will have our 100th anniversary this year, celebrating it on April 25th. That's the celebration. The real anniversary is February 1st. And since that time, when you look back, decade by decade, they did superb work. From starting with maybe 14, jumping to 25 professional men and businessmen, and going all the way up to a maximum probably of 160 through the years. And then 3 clubs now in Salisbury area. And what they've done from children's hospitals, boys clubs, the bond drives that were held in World War II, all the way to today, where we're building ramps, we're helping the county on their Fresh Start program, we're helping scholarships. I cover the area of just the lower 6 clubs here, and this year those 6 clubs plan to give $46,000 in scholarships to high school graduates and college.
And it's amazing how you all do it. You all do it so subtly without a lot of fanfare at all. And there's one in my paper this week, the Governor's Challenge, where you all raised some money for the 3-point thing, whatever.
3-point initiative.
And that's a simple thing where you guys have gotten involved in that, and it's been of great benefit to the community.
Well, we sold commissions. Other organizations matched those sold ads. We received commissions. Other organizations, foundations, matched it. We were able to give $40,000 to other organizations which reflect to the youth responsibility, integrity, and academic achievement. And they apply, and if they're accepted, we grant them monies.
What does it take to become a member of Rotary? What do you have? What credentials do you need?
According to Rotary today's world, because they're becoming more contemporary, that you are a person who may be in business or your profession, but one, you're good character, reputable, good reputation. But the other thing is you want to do service, because the motto is service above self. You want to help your community. So a Rotarian can invite you and you visit. We will ask you if we may publish your name amongst the members. If the members accept the general membership, then we will ask you to join.
And you mentioned there's now 3 clubs in Salisbury, and it fascinates me because they're kind of designed for 3 different kinds of personalities.
Really? Okay.
So, I mean, there's the Thursday one, which you're in.
Evening, yes.
Yes, and it seems to be kind of a collection of older people, people who've been in business who really know what's going on. You meet over there at the Boy Scout.
The cabin on Riverside.
The cabin on Riverside Drive, and there's a lot of camaraderie in there. It's fun. It's a very social thing to me, it seems. But these people sit around and they figure out what the problems are, and they figure out how they're going to solve them. It fascinates me. The lunch one is for busy people who run out at lunch. I guess that's on Tuesdays.
Tuesday at lunch, yeah.
Civic
Center.
Yeah, and that's a fun one too. And then the morning one on Wednesdays, a lot of young professionals who are able to get there at 8 o'clock.
And sometimes bring their children, which is nice.
which is just amazing. And there's a different focus. And I just love how there's 3 Rotaries in Salisbury.
But their whole idea is to help others, help the community, and also, I have to say, on an international aspect, eradicate polio.
Right. We had John Nanny on, who is a Rotarian who goes around and talks about what it's like to have polio. He had polio, it went away, it came back. But that was an aspect of Rotary that I didn't even know that Rotary was involved in. It's just an amazing thing.
Like they say, we're this close. There's fewer and fewer cases of polio internationally. This year it went up, and they believe it was not counting correctly. But if we can get down to 0 cases and then have 3 years of clear polio, it will be called eradicated. The Gates Foundation is helping Rotary immensely. So the plan is probably in the 20s. I'm just assuming now it will be eradicated. Then the next question is, what's next?
As someone who's been in the community covering news for 41 years now, your name has been in the paper pretty much every week. There's some group or service club or nonprofit, the school board. You've been involved in so much for so many years, Marie.
Well, Salisbury permits you to do that and gives you the opportunity to do it. I'm really thankful for that. There was a gentleman in town, Norm Holland, I believe, said, this is the most volunteering town in the world. And they come out and ask, and you say yes, and you accomplish what they ask you to do.
But what motivates you to do it?
I always have. And I think back, and it's It's great to do, it's fun to do, and you feel good. It's really selfish to do it.
So when you look back at the 100 years, is there something that surprises you that Rotary was involved in that you didn't know?
When looking back over the years and refreshing like the first half of the century, that the gentlemen, and it was all gentlemen, there weren't that many of them, but they accomplished so much in the dollar magnitude. In World War II, there were 3 or 4 bond drives, and they said they'd end up giving 100,000. They surpassed that. Then it was 200,000. They surpassed it. Every bond drive was beat by $100,000, $150,000, $200,000. Or how they could raise, maybe someone gave $5,000 in 1920. Well, that was
Right.
immense amount of money.
Right.
Immense. So what they did, they watched and they did it. They were very into the boys because it was a male organization. So they helped Boys Club. They helped boys in high school. They had a loan program to help boys get businesses. And I'm not saying it was boys because it's expanded beyond that.
Sure.
It's unisexual now.
So tell us about your all's involvement in Meals on Wheels.
Our club would do every day for the whole month, every month, we deliver meals to a specific area, or 2 areas really. So we've done it since the mid-90s. To do Meals on Wheels delivered to these people is awesome. You meet some great people who can tell you some great history of Salisbury. They're very appreciative. So it used to be Monday through Friday every week. Now it's Monday through Thursday. He has more people who from our club who want to do it the number of days. We love doing it. We've delivered thousands of meals over the years, 40,000 or so. I'm not sure on the count, but it's a great event, and all of us want to do it. And as soon as you retire, and some of them even do it while they work.
And you work with the Max Center on that.
Yes, and so it's a good relationship with them as well, and we absolutely enjoy doing it. But they brought the speakers they brought in, well known from Baltimore. And you think about coming from Baltimore to here in the 1920s and 1930s and 1940s. How did they get here? And I wasn't around here. And the governor, the people from Chicago who had RI, people from New York, Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
Top notch. And now to find those equivalent speakers to come and speak to us today is a little harder.
Yeah, but the speakers that you have are great. And as a news guy, I love it because they get, especially the evening Rotary, the speakers become relaxed and that camaraderie sort of thing. And they'll say things that they won't say to me as a reporter normally. So if I show up, I can usually get some news.
Well, please do. Please do come. There was a Navy SEAL we had, and I forgot what conflict he was in, distinct conflict over in the Middle East. I believe he's in politics now in the Virginia area or the Carolinas. I really enjoyed, there's a professor from the university for the Hubble telescope in space. He talks about the black hole.
Right.
A gentleman who walked the Appalachian Trail.
Wow.
He's at the university as well. We had a local PRMC doctor, and it's not medical, but he was a fighter pilot, I believe, and he was intriguing. There's a gentleman who, he's a Rotarian, I've spoken to you about him, and it's Ken Woods, who goes over to Africa and drills wells.
I've heard about him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He would be a great one for your program.
Yeah. Tell us what's coming up.
In April 25th, we'll have a dinner at the Civic Center, in which the gentleman Peter Kyle is going to come in and speak, and he is higher up in the echelon of Rotary, and he is one of our directors of our zone, which is from Canada down to the Caribbean, as well as he will probably end up into the RI, higher levels of RI yet, and he's going to speak to us about Rotary and be our keynote speaker. But what we also try to do is we're trying to give back to the community. What we're attempting to do is to build a labyrinth It is downtown.
Down there on the Riverwalk.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's near the old headquarters, catty corner from the library. We were able to get a bond bill from the state of Maryland. The Labyrinth is in its design phases. We're hoping it will be done by April 25th or established, because of things have to grow and everything with it. And we would have a dedication to that. So besides the dedication, we're hoping on the same day. It may not come to fruition with the day of the dinner. And attending it will be hopefully past Rotarians. What we have is the 4-way test recipients. This is an award we give out every year to someone in the community, a non-Rotarian who has contributed to the community immensely. Also, we have Rotarians of the Year who it's a Rotarian within the club that year was extended their efforts to lead the way. And then other community and other Rotarians throughout the district.
All right, being from the Eastern Shore, what is a labyrinth?
It is a pathway. It looks like a maze, but it's not, and it's circular. And you walk on it and meditate, and you just continue to do that until you're at peace. We're hoping perhaps that in that same community, in that same area, and I have to say the land is the city's, and it has given us the permission to do this. So the city is very helpful on this. It's a collaboration of our club and the city and the state. But there will be something in the center, a tree or a sculpture, and then hopefully some benches maybe so that people can sit and just be calm. It'll be a location that can be used by the community. We've talked to the police department. They may perhaps take youth down there. The university will use it possibly in their conflict resolution. We originally talked to them on this. Others could have gatherings there. Again, it'll be under the city's direction and the city's maintenance. But I'm looking forward to it just because of the solitude down there.
Right.
And the peace.
Right. Well, 100 years, it's amazing, and the contribution has been incredible. If I'm wondering if I should be in the Rotary, what do I do?
There's many in the community, and they'll have these pins, which would be a Paul Harris pin or a Rotary pin. And probably many people know them. If not, call me. We have different membership chairs. Look at our Facebook page or our website. There's a contact information. Our club meets on Thursday night at 6 o'clock at 1715 Riverside Drive. We do put our programs in the newspaper so that people, if you see a topic, you're free to come in and join us if you wish for dinner. There is a cost to the dinner. And listen to the person, or you can just come in and listen.
Well, thank you for all you do, and I'm thrilled that
you.
you're on here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent Newspaper, another edition of 101 right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.